Bro, 5 fights, 5 finishes. Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown fight night just finished, and this had to be the best fight night main card of the entire year. I don't know, tell me what you think, but 5 finishes for every single fight to finish, like in the first or second round, pretty much, is pretty crazy. And I've got all the pictures of the best moments. I'm going to break down the entire main card, so let's get straight into it. Starting with Christian Leroy Duncan versus Marco Tulio. Now, I got the result right on this one, but honestly, this fight did not happen the way that I thought it was going to. This photo right here is a pretty good tale of how this fight went. Christian Leroy Duncan basically came in like the Tasmanian devil, just trying to throw so many different spinning attacks. This first one got him pushed up against the wall for another like 2 minutes or so. There were a few other spinning attempts and some striking in this round, but honestly, moving straight into the second round, this is where the real action happened because finally, Christian Leroy Duncan actually landed one of his spinning attacks. Spinning back fist catches Marco Tulio right on the chin. He's immediately jelly-legged, chicken-legged, wobbling backwards. Christian Leroy Duncan walks him down. Beautiful straight right, puts him down to the ground, lands one more shot, probably not even necessary, honestly, because you can tell that he's basically unconscious right here, but leaves him laid out. He was out for a while. When they raised his hand, Marco Tullio wasn't even there. I think he was still unconscious. So awesome first fight to kick off the main card. We then moved into Chris Padilla versus Ismael Bonfim, and you might be able to see here that the weight discrepancy is about 6 pounds. This is meant to be a lightweight fight, but I think Ismael Bonfim thought that he was going to fight at his big brother's weight at welterweight or something like that because he didn't even try to make lightweight. And thankfully, Chris Padilla was able to punish him for this because they start first round. Ismael Bonfim has some gas. He's coming out a bit aggressive, and Chris Padilla basically to stifle that, pushes him up against the fence. This was a lot of the first round, honestly, was Chris Padilla holding him up against the fence. But then Ismael Bonfim, right at the end of the round, sort of reverses him, gets him down. Chris Padilla is able to get back up. Ismael Bonfim lands like a beautiful uppercut, follows up with like a nice right hand, just very aggressive in the last like 10 to 15 seconds of the round. And honestly, probably stole the round, even though Chris Padilla had him up against the fence and had a lot of control time. But in the second round, that gas is gone for Bonfim. You can tell that he's already very tired coming out of on into the second round, but they're striking, and right about here, I think you can see that he's actually looking at the clock because he's basically done. And then 2 seconds later goes for like the emergency desperation shot, doesn't make anything of it, gets stuffed, just like goes to his back. This is the armadillo Anthony Smith technique right here. Tries to grab Padilla's leg again, like maybe I can get a heel hook, but there's nothing going on here. And Chris Padilla basically just turns him around, folds him up with a couple punches, finishes it up, swaggers off, gets the win. He called afterwards for the 50K bonus because like life is hard. It wasn't a finish that deserved a 50K bonus, and there's so many better ways to use your Octagon interview. Honestly, there was a guy on the prelims that just like full on ripped off every Chael Sonnen line that you could ever imagine. But even that, like, I think his name is Josh Hacken or something like that. At least I'll remember that guy. I might forget Chris Padilla because even though this was a good performance, and I'll probably remember him for beating Ismael Bonfim because of the weight miss and all of that type of stuff, you just got to use your Octagon interview time better. Don't be talking about how poor you are. I know it sucks. I know that the UFC pays not great, and like 50K would be life changing, but you got to find a more exciting way to get that 50K, brother. Sorry. Anyway, moving on to the battle of the Eastern European unks at the welterweight barbecue to see who is the supreme Eastern European unk. Muslim Salikhov versus Uros Medic. I got this one wrong. So far, I'd been 2-0 on the main card, and I actually got the Raoni Barcelos Ricky Simone fight from the prelims right as well. But this one I got wrong. I thought that Muslim Salikhov was just going to be a bit too crafty, a bit too tricky for Uros Medic, and Uros Medic came out like just a bat out of hell. Super aggressive right out of the gate, big strong kicks, head kick lands, follows it up with a beautiful straight right that puts Muslim Salikhov down. This is all within the first minute, and then just literally follows it up with a bunch of punches. The ref here probably could have stopped this a little bit sooner, I think, because he follows up with a bunch, but he gets the win. He, sounded really good in his Octagon interview as well. He wants to get into that top 15. And this is again where I think the guys will mess this part up. They'll be like, I want the top 15. I want to get into that top 15. And then they'll say, well, who do you want in the top 15? They're like, anyone. It's like, just call for someone. Call for someone in that 10 to 15 range that you know doesn't have a fight booked yet. Get some fight buzz, please. Like, we want you. We want to know you. Uros Medic, this was like an awesome fight. Honestly, seems like he could be a real threat in this division, but it's just hard. You're not on the biggest fight night card of the year or anything like that. You got to make the moment when you get that Octagon interview and try and just like get yourself onto a better card, a better situation with a better fighter where people know and they care about it, so they want to see you again. Anyway, I'm fucking ranting over here. Moving on to Matt Schnell versus Joseph Morales. And again, I got this one right. This one was pretty easy, honestly. Joseph Morales is a really good fighter. Matt Schnell, bit of a journeyman. And this is basically what it ended up being in reality. So Matt Schnell comes out, tries to take Joseph Morales down. And in the Octagon interview, Morales basically talked about this. It's like, if he shoots, I score, which I loved. Speaking of like being ready to handle your win and get some buzz on you, I think that Joseph Morales did a good job with this. So Matt Schnell goes to take him down. They get sort of on top, but in this like weird, uncomfortable, not butterfly guard position, but somewhat close to that. Joseph Morales is able to turn it over, get the reversal here, and then grab his leg to finish off the reversal. Is able to take that, trip him up, get over on top of him, get into like full side control, turns it into like a Kimura. So goes to like grab the Kimura, wrench it up top, and then turns that into a reverse crucifix, so like a behind the back crucifix, to which obviously Matt Schnell's trying to get out of. And as he's trying to get out of it, Joseph Morales wraps up the guillotine and finishes it really easily. And honestly, if we go back and actually look at this sequence, you can see that like pretty much right from this moment here, Joseph Morales knows where this fight's going to go and he's going to win it, right? So like, again, he gets the reversal, Matt Schnell's on top, he gets the reversal, gets on top, takes side control, goes from side control for the Kimura, but I don't think he really cares about the Kimura. And he said in the Octagon interview, like once he was at this point here about the Kimura, he sort of knew all the next steps. He wasn't willing to give away his game plan, but you can tell, like, he goes for the Kimura. He's not really going for it. He just knows that to fight against it, Matt Schnell's going to put himself into a bad position where he has to sort of roll through to not let his arm get taken. And in that, Joseph Morales is able to lock up that other arm with his legs. So now he has the crucifix position. He throws a couple of elbows there. But again, this isn't really what he's going for. This isn't a super fight-ending position unless you're going to just start raining down elbows. But no fighter wants to be in this position, right? So they're going to scramble out in a certain way. They're going to try and go towards their other arm. And as he's doing that, you can see that his neck is left super open and his arm is trapped. So all that Joseph Morales really needs to do from this position is just move his right arm under that neck and he's got the guillotine, which is basically what he does, and then gets the tap. Like, I don't know if this was super high level from Joseph Morales. I think it was very high level, but I think this is also Matt Schnell is not that good. And, if you get like a journeyman fighter in these grappling positions, I imagine they're going to be relatively predictable. So if you have good high level jiu-jitsu, those transitions were sweet, man. This was a really well set up submission. Beautiful first round finish in a flyweight fight, which you don't see often. But then the ref waves it off. He finishes the fight. He has this crazy maniac stare, throws up the 6-7, does a little bit of ball juggling or something like that. I don't know what he's doing here, and gets the win. Good on you, Joseph Morales. Anyway, moving on to the main event, Randy Brown versus Gabriel Bonfim, the welterweight main event fight here. I thought Randy Brown was going to win this by KO or TKO in like the second or third round, honestly. I thought that Gabriel Bonfim only really had the the grappling chance of winning this, especially when I saw the Wonderboy fight and like how he just had to hold Wonderboy up against the fence to try and get the win. But he did a very good job here. He starts out by basically just chewing up the legs of Randy Brown with leg kicks. Calf kick, calf kick. I'm like in the way of all these calf kicks. Calf kick, calf kick, calf kick. Randy Brown's left leg is so compromised that he actually goes to throw a right body kick here and then falls down to the ground because of it. Like a couple minutes later, Randy Brown throws like a decent right straight here. There's another calf kick from Ismael Bonfim, and following like the 15th calf kick of the round, watch this. Randy Brown goes for the crouching eye poke. Let's go. Crouching eye poke. And honestly, like these pictures don't even do it justice. He's like he like literally just 4 or 5 eye poke jabs right at Gabriel Bonfim's face. Then he goes for the flying knee. As they're pulling away, Gabriel Bonfim's like, I don't care about the flying knee. It's my eye that you poked 4 times on the way in that I'm messed up about, right? And then, so he takes like a quick break. Nothing, which is actually funny, like given, all of the eye poke controversy recently, this is like literally a 10-second break and Gabriel Bonfim's back in there. And then in the second round, Gabriel Bonfim lands the first ever fall off KO with a knee. Watch this. So he lands this beautiful knee. Randy Brown is falling backwards. So is Gabriel Bonfim, falls flat on his ass. And then the referee jumps in and stops it before Gabriel Bonfim can even get back to his feet. So he won the fight by fall off KO, boys. But it was he did very good. Randy Brown, like he just, after all of those leg kicks in the first round, he was super compromised and, he was getting desperate. They had to throw strikes. Gabriel Bonfim sort of was just a step ahead with the striking on this. Punishing those legs, has good power, clearly. He can put a guy out. He was able to put Randy Brown out with this knee. Yeah, and, Randy Brown was contesting the stoppage, but he's out here, man. Like, he doesn't even have the ability to defend himself. He did end up putting his guard up, but at the time when the referee was already in between them. But even afterwards, when he was contesting the fight, he was like walking away, and you could tell that he was putting up a good sort of face for it, but in reality, he had like jelly legs underneath there. So Gabriel Bonfim gets the win. I'm annoyed. I was hoping that Randy Brown could avenge Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but at least both the Bonfim brothers didn't lose. That would have been pretty tragic for them to both go home. It was a really fun fight card, man. Yeah, the Raoni Barcelos beat Ricky Simone in the prelims. That was the only other fight that I really covered in the pre-fight predictions, but this was good. I'm so excited for Islam JDM next week, guys. I actually had in my prep for this video when they were going through the when they were setting up the in between one of the fights or something like that, they had the stats for this fight coming up, and dude, together they're on a 33 fight win streak. Like they have 32 finishes, both super dominant guys. Like this is going to be a very interesting fight. I'm working on my prediction video at the moment. It's going to be like a more edited video, so hopefully you like it, and hopefully you like this video. Let me know what you think. What did you think of the fights? What was your favorite fight on the card? One of the things that I thought was really interesting about this fight night was that every guy was basically calling for their 50K bonus, but with so many finishes that happened, obviously they're not going to get it. Of each of the finishes, which one do you think should actually be I guess Joseph Morales should probably get submission of the night. Even though they don't do submission of the night anymore, he should get a performance of the night bonus. And then who gets the KO of the night bonus or the other performance of the night? Gabriel Bonfim with his knee KO was pretty good. Uros Medic was also very good. I think you have to give it to Gabriel Bonfim for the knee. It's the main event as well. And then for fight of the night, the fight that finished off the prelims was actually very good. I can't remember who it was. I'll put it in the comments so we can talk in the comments if anyone's still even watching this video up until this point. But yeah, let me know who you think should have won the performance of the night's bonuses. Anyway, see you boys.